Ethan Carter looked out the window of his salvage ship, the Star Wanderer, at the old, broken warship floating in the dark. The warship had no lights, no sign of life, and it turned slowly in the cold space above a dead planet. The computer said, "The ship had not sent a signal in more than 100 years. Maria Lopez stood next to Ethan, checking her tablet for updates. Carter Brooks, the quiet engineer, was fixing a broken pipe on the other side of the small bridge. Ethan was not a hero or a soldier. He made a living finding old things in space and selling them to people who wanted to remember the past or make a quick profit. This job was just another salvage trip, but something felt different. The ship outside had a strange pull, as if it was calling him. Ethan did not believe in ghosts, but he could not shake the feeling that there was something waiting for him inside that warship. Maria sighed and looked up from her tablet. "There's not much here, Ethan. The scanners don't show any life. Just old tech. Maybe some working parts." Ethan nodded. "We'll go over and take a look. Maybe we'll get lucky." "Carter, are you ready?" Carter wiped his hands and gave a thumbs up. He didn't talk much, but he was good at fixing things. Ethan trusted him. The three of them suited up in their space gear and crossed the short distance between the Star Wanderer and the warship using the small shuttle. The warship was bigger than it looked from a distance. It had old marks from battles long ago, deep cuts and burns along its sides, but it was still in one piece. The airlock opened with a heavy noise, letting in a thin cloud of dust and cold air. Inside, the lights were dead. Ethan turned on his helmet lamp and saw rows of empty chairs, broken screens, and dust floating in the air. There were no bodies, no blood. Just silence and the feeling that people had left in a hurry. They walked through the main hallway, looking for anything that might be useful. Maria found some old tools and a sealed box marked emergency. Carter found a power cell that still had some life in it. Ethan was about to say they should head back when he noticed a strange door at the end of a dark hallway. It was thick and had a red light over it, still glowing even after all these years. Ethan called Maria and Carter over. "Look at this." "The power is still on here," Maria frowned. "That's not possible. Everything else is dead." Carter checked the panel next to the door. "It's a cryo bay. Maybe there's still power for the life support." Ethan's heart started to beat faster. Cryo bays were used to keep people alive for long trips or in case of emergencies. If someone was inside, they could still be alive. Even after all this time, he pressed the open button, and the door slid open slowly. The room inside was cold and dark. There were 3 cryopods lined up against the wall. 2 of them had lights that were off, and the glass was covered in frost. The third pod, however, had a soft blue light, and the glass was clear. Ethan stepped closer and wiped away some of the fog with his glove. Inside was a woman, dressed in old, heavy armor. Her face was calm, eyes closed, but her skin did not look pale or sick. In fact, she looked as if she had only just fallen asleep. The name on her suit said Lily Grant. Ethan reached out and touched the glass. It was warm. Maria gasped. "How is that possible?" "The ship is freezing." Carter checked the panel. "At the foot of the pod. Life signs are good. She's alive." Ethan looked at his friends. "We have to bring her back to the ship. We can't leave her here." Maria was nervous. "Ethan, what if she's dangerous? What if she's sick?" "We don't know anything about her." Ethan shook his head. "She's a person. She needs help. We'll be careful." They worked together to disconnect the pod from the warship systems and carried it back to the shuttle. It was heavy, but Carter found the right controls to keep the life support running. On the way back to the Star Wanderer, Ethan watched the sleeping woman and wondered what she had seen. What kind of battle had left her alone in the dark for her? So many years. Once they were back on their own ship, they set up the cryopod in the small medical room. Maria double-checked everything, making sure the woman would stay safe during the waking process. Carter set up cameras and sensors just in case. Ethan sat beside the pod, waiting for signs of movement. After a while, the lights on the pod began to blink. A quiet hiss filled the room as the cryosystem started to warm. The woman's fingers twitched. Her eyes moved behind her eyelids. "Maria." held her breath. Suddenly the woman opened her eyes and gasped. She tried to sit up, but the straps held her down. Her eyes were wild with fear and confusion. She looked around, searching for something familiar. Ethan tried to smile, but he could see she was scared. "Hello," Ethan said quietly. "You're safe. My name is Ethan. This is Maria and Carter. You're on our ship? Do you know your name?" The woman blinked. She looked at Ethan, then at the room, and back at the pod. She touched the badge on her chest. Lily Grant." Her voice was weak but steady. Maria tried to help. "You were asleep for a long time. Your ship was lost. We found you in Cryo." Lily shook her head. "No, that's not right. The battle. The Cernic were coming. I had to get my team to safety. I ordered them to the cryopods." She looked at Ethan, fear growing in her eyes. "Are they safe? Did you find them?" Ethan told her the truth. "We found 3 pods. Only yours had power. I'm sorry." Lily closed her eyes, pain on her face. For a moment, no one spoke. Ethan felt sorry for her. Waking up alone, everyone you knew gone, was a hard thing to face. Lily looked at Ethan, her eyes sharper now. "Who are you? What side are you on? The war, did we win?" Ethan shook his head slowly. "The war ended a long time ago. More than 100 years have passed. The Cernic are gone, or at least no one's seen them in many years. Most people think of it as history now." Lily stared at him, not sure what to believe. She looked at the armor she still wore and the worn symbols on her arms. She remembered fighting, running, shouting orders. Now everything was gone. Ethan spoke softly. "You're safe here. We want to help you. If you remember anything about what happened, maybe you can tell us when you feel ready." Lily sat up slowly, trying to process what she heard. She did not trust Ethan or his crew yet. She did not even trust her own memory. Everything felt wrong, out of place. The world she remembered was full of war, danger, and fear. Now she was alone, with strangers, far from home. Carter brought her a glass of water. Lily took it and drank. Slowly, still watching everyone carefully, Maria tried to smile. "We'll help you get better. When you feel strong enough, you can tell us what you need." Lily nodded, but she was already looking past them, her mind working, trying to fit the pieces together. She wondered why she had survived, what happened to her friends, and what the world had become while she slept. Ethan knew the days ahead would not be easy. But deep down, he felt that finding Lily was not just luck. It was the start of something important, something that might change everything for them all. Lily stayed quiet for many hours after she woke up. She sat on the medical bed, still in her old armor, sometimes staring at her hands, sometimes looking at the strange new world around her. Her armor was heavy, but she would not let anyone take it off, even when Maria offered a clean shirt and pants. She held on to the past because it was all she had. Ethan tried to give her space, but he was curious about her story. He wanted to help, but he also wanted to learn. He knew there was something important about Lily, something more than just being found after so many years. When he left the room, he talked with Maria and Carter in the kitchen area. The 3 of them whispered about what to do next. Maria was still worried. "We don't know who she is, Ethan. She could be a soldier, a spy, or something else. What if someone is looking for her?" Ethan shook his head. "No one has been to that ship in years, and she was the only one alive. She's scared, Maria. She needs help." Carter listened without saying much. He worked on fixing a broken power converter and only looked up now and then. After a while, he said softly, "Maybe she can tell us what happened on that ship. Maybe there's a reason she survived." Ethan thought about that. The war Lily spoke of was old news for most people. History books said the Cernic were defeated, but there were many stories and rumors about what really happened in those final battles. He wondered what Lily knew that no one else did. Later, Ethan brought Lily some food. It was a simple meal, but she ate it slowly, looking at each bite like she was remembering how to eat. She did not ask for anything, not even water. After she finished, Ethan sat beside her, not too close, and tried to talk. "I know this must be very hard," Ethan said in a gentle voice. "You lost a lot of time. Things are different now. If you want, I can show you some news on the screen. Maybe that will help you understand. Lily shook her head. Everything I knew is gone, my crew, my friends. Even the war is finished. I don't know what to believe. Ethan nodded. He tried to imagine waking up and finding the world had moved on without him. It was a lonely thought. You're not alone now. We'll help you. Lily looked at him with tired eyes. Why did you save me? Ethan smiled a little. Because you needed help. That's what people should do. She did not answer, but a small part of her wanted to trust him. She wanted to believe there was still kindness left in the world. The next day, Lily asked to see the stars. Ethan led her to the window in the main room. She looked out at the empty space and the distant lights. For a long time she said nothing. Then she pointed to a blue planet far below. We fought above that world. My ship took heavy damage. I ordered my team to Cryo, hoping someone would come for us. Ethan listened carefully. Do you remember what happened before you went to sleep? Lily nodded, but her voice shook. The Cernic boarded us. They were everywhere. We tried to hold them back, but there were too many. I sent my crew to cryopods. I hoped we could be rescued or wake when it was safe. I was the last to go under. I locked the door and set the cryo for emergency wake. She looked down at her hands. It feels like it just happened, but now it's all history. Maria joined them. She carried a tablet and showed Lily a map of the galaxy, full of names and places that were strange to Lily. A lot has changed, Maria said. The Cernic haven't been seen in decades. The old fleets are gone. There are new leaders, new laws. Lily tried to follow, but it was too much. She put her head in her hands. I don't know where I fit in anymore. Ethan said, You have time. You don't need to decide now. But there are things you can help us with. You know more about that ship than anyone? Maybe there are secrets or answers on it. Carter was working at the table, listening. He turned and asked, Did your ship have any special tech? Anything people today would want? Lily thought for a moment. We had experimental weapons, yes. And secret codes for command. But those were supposed to be destroyed before the ship went down. I don't know if they were. Ethan frowned. When we found you, there were only 3 cryopods. 2 were dead. Your pod was the only one still working. Do you know why? Lily shook her head. No, maybe I got lucky. Maybe my pod was closer to a working power line. They all wondered about that. Sometimes luck changed everything. Soon, Ethan got a message from his ship's computer. There was another vessel nearby, just on the edge of sensor range. He checked the screen. It was a small ship, no ID, just drifting slowly closer. Ethan's heart sped up. He told Maria and Carter to get ready. Maria said, Do you think they're after us? Ethan shrugged. Maybe they're just passing by. But we should be careful. He went back to Lily. Do you feel strong enough to help us look through your ship again? Maybe there's something there we missed. Lily nodded. I want to see it. I need to know what happened to my crew. They took the shuttle again, leaving Carter on the Star Wanderer to watch the sensors. The warship felt even darker and colder than before. The air was heavy with dust and memories. Lily walked slowly through the halls, her boots making soft echoes on the metal floor. She found her way to the cryo bay and looked at the 2 broken pods. She knelt by the first one, brushing frost from the glass. Inside was a man in the same armor as hers, but his skin was gray and he did not move. The other pod held a woman, her face peaceful but lifeless. Lily closed her eyes for a moment, pressing her hand against the glass. Ethan stood back, giving her space. He understood that some pain could not be fixed with words. After a while, Lily opened a small panel on the wall. Inside was a data chip, still shining with a tiny green light. This is the captain's log, she said. It should have the last orders, battle reports, and maybe the codes for the secret weapons. Maria took the chip and put it in her bag. We'll study it back on our ship. Maybe we can learn something. Lily stood up and took a last look at her lost friends. She whispered something, then turned away. On the way back to the shuttle, they heard a sound behind them. The old warship creaked, and then a sharp beep came from Maria's bag. The data chip was sending a signal. Maria's eyes went wide. It's broadcasting. Ethan's radio crackled. Carter's voice came through, tense. That ship outside, it's moving. Someone's coming over. They know we're here. Ethan told Maria to shut down the chip, but it was too late. Footsteps echoed in the hallways. Someone else was aboard the warship. Ethan, Maria, and Lily hurried through the dark passages, trying to get back to their shuttle. Lily led the way, moving quickly despite her heavy armor. She knew the shortcuts, the hiding spots, and the tricks. Of the old ship. As they neared the airlock, they saw shapes in the shadows. 3 strangers, dressed in dark suits, carrying weapons, blocked their path. One of them, a tall man with a scar across his cheek, raised his hand. "Give us the woman and the chip," he said. "We know who she is. We know what you found. Hand her over, and maybe we let you go." Ethan stood in front of Lily. Maria held the bag close. For a long moment, no one moved. The tension was thick. Then Lily stepped forward, her voice calm but cold. "You want me? You'll have to fight for it." The strangers hesitated, not sure what to do. Ethan whispered to Maria, "Get to the shuttle. I'll hold them off." But Lily put her hand on Ethan's arm. "No, we do this together." With quick thinking, Lily reached for an old emergency lever on the wall. She pulled it hard, alarms blared, and the lights flashed. Doors slammed shut all through the hallway, trapping the strangers behind heavy metal barriers. Ethan and Maria rushed to the shuttle with Lily. They took off fast, flying back to the Star Wanderer. As they left, the old warship drifted in silence once more. But the danger was not over. Someone else knew about Lily now, and they would not give up easily. Back on the Star Wanderer, Ethan, Maria, Carter, and Lily sat together, catching their breath. They had new questions, new problems, and a data chip that could change everything. Lily looked at Ethan, and for the first time, a small smile touched her lips. She was not alone anymore. The Star Wanderer floated quietly in space, far from the old warship. Everyone on board was tense and tired. Carter checked the scanners again and again, looking for any sign of the stranger's ship, but all was silent for now. Maria kept the data chip locked in a small metal box, just in case it tried to send another signal. Ethan watched Lily, wondering how much more she could handle. He could see the sadness in her eyes, but there was also something new, a spark of hope, or maybe determination. Lily did not sleep much that night. She walked through the halls of the Star Wanderer, touching the walls, learning every corner. She sat by the window, watching the stars move slowly by. Sometimes she closed her eyes and remembered her crew, their laughter and their voices, and the sound of her own command in the middle of the chaos. She had been a leader, a fighter. Now she was something else, a survivor in a world that had forgotten her. The next morning, Ethan gathered everyone in the small kitchen. He had made coffee and tried to look calm, but he could not hide the worry. In his voice, "We have the captain's log, and it might be important," Ethan said. "But we also have trouble. Those people on the warship knew who Lily was. They wanted her and the chip. We need to find out what's on it before anyone else comes after us." Carter nodded. "We need to move fast. That ship was just the start. If the message went out, others might come too." Maria took the chip from the box and placed it on the table. She connected it to her tablet using a special cable. The screen came to life with a long list of files. Some were audio logs, some were videos, and some were written reports. Maria scrolled through them, her eyes moving quickly. "There are hundreds of files here," Maria said. "Battle reports, crew logs, secret codes, and something called Omega Protocol. That sounds important." Lily leaned over, reading the names. Omega Protocol was our last command. Only the captain could use it. It was meant to keep the enemy from getting our secrets if we lost the ship. Ethan asked, "Can you unlock it?" Lily nodded slowly. She touched the tablet, entering a long code she remembered from her training. The file opened with a soft click. The screen showed a short message, recorded in Lily's own voice many years ago. "If you are reading this, our ship has fallen. The Cernic have boarded us. I have ordered my crew to cryo sleep, hoping someone will save us. All secret weapons and data must be kept from the enemy. The codes are hidden in 3 parts: my badge, the engineering room, and the captain's quarters. Only together can the Omega protocol be used. Maria looked at Lily. Do you still have your badge? Lily touched the old badge on her armor. It was scratched and faded, but still there. Yes, but the other 2 codes are on the warship. We need to go back. Ethan was not happy about going back to the warship. It's dangerous. Those people could still be there, or someone else could show up. Lily stood tall. We have no choice. If the wrong people get those codes, they could unlock weapons no one should have. I'll go alone if I have to. Ethan shook his head. You're not going alone? We're a team now. They made a plan. Carter would stay on the Star Wanderer and watch the sensors for any new ships. Ethan, Maria, and Lily would return to the warship in the shuttle. Maria packed tools, flashlights, and a small weapon for safety. Ethan checked the shuttle's engines and filled the fuel tank. Lily closed her eyes, remembering the map of the ship, the traps, and the secret passages she had set up long ago. They left quietly, hoping not to be noticed. As they flew to the warship, Maria asked Lily what she would do if they found more enemies inside. I'll do what I must, Lily said. I won't let them take what we fought to protect. The warship was dark and cold, even more so than before. The lights from the shuttle cast long shadows on the metal walls. They moved carefully through the halls, keeping their voices low. Lily led the way, guiding them to the engineering room first. Inside, everything was covered in dust. Old tools and wires hung from the walls. Lily found a small safe hidden behind a loose panel. She entered a code, and the safe opened with a click. Inside was a metal cylinder about the size of her hand. She twisted it, and a small data chip slid out. This is the second code, Lily said. Now for the last one. The captain's quarters were on the upper deck. They moved quickly but quietly, careful not to step on broken glass or loose metal. As they neared the door, Ethan heard a noise behind them. He turned and saw a flicker of light down the hall. Someone's here, Ethan whispered. Maria drew her small weapon. Lily pressed herself against the wall, her old instincts coming back. She motioned for Ethan to move forward while she watched their back. They reached the captain's room and found the last safe under the bed. Lily opened it and took out a small metal card. Suddenly, voices echoed in the hallway. The strangers had come back, looking for Lily and her team. Ethan shut the door and locked it, while Maria and Lily searched the room for another way out. There's a vent behind the closet, Lily said. We can fit if we move fast. They crawled through the tight metal vent, the sounds of footsteps and shouts growing louder behind them. The vent led to the cargo bay, near where they had parked the shuttle. As they dropped down, they heard gunshots. The strangers were close. Ethan, Maria, and Lily ran to the shuttle. Maria started the engines while Ethan and Lily covered her. A shot hit the shuttle's side, but Maria lifted off just in time. The shuttle raced back to the Star Wanderer, the warship shrinking behind them. When they returned, Carter helped them inside and sealed the doors. Everyone was out of breath and shaking. Ethan checked Lily for injuries, but she was unharmed. Maria checked the codes, making sure they had everything. We did it, Maria said. We have all 3 codes, but those people are still out there. Ethan nodded. We need to figure out what to do next. Lily took off her helmet and sat down heavily. For the first time, she looked truly tired. I never wanted this. I just wanted to save my crew. Ethan sat next to her. You did your best. Now we have to finish what you started. The crew of the Star Wanderer spent the next hours studying the data from the 3 codes. The files showed maps, hidden supply locations, and the secret for unlocking the Omega Protocol. It was not just a weapon. It was a message, a warning about the Cernic and their plans. The old enemy was not gone. They were hiding, waiting for the right moment to return. As they worked, Carter noticed something strange on the sensors. A new signal, far away but growing stronger, was coming from deep space. It was not a normal ship. It moved too fast, too silent. Carter called everyone to the bridge. Something's coming, Carter said, and I don't think it's human. Everyone stared at the screen, watching the signal move closer. Lily felt a cold fear in her heart. She remembered the stories, the warnings. The Cernak were coming back, and she was the only one who truly knew what they were capable of. Ethan looked at his crew. We need to warn people. We can't run forever. Lily stood up, her old courage returning. Then we fight, together. The Star Wanderer turned away from the dead warship, leaving its ghosts behind. Ahead of them was danger, but also hope. For the first time, Lily was not just a survivor. She was part of something new, a team that would not give up, no matter what the future brought. The Star Wanderer was no longer a quiet salvage ship. It now felt like a ship at war. Everyone moved quickly and carefully. Carter ran checks on all systems, making sure the engines and shields were ready. Maria locked herself in her small office, working on sending coded messages to warn nearby stations about the strange signal coming closer. Ethan tried to keep everyone calm, but his own hands shook as he prepared supplies and checked the ship's defenses. Lily felt strange wearing her old armor on a new ship. She looked around at Ethan, Maria, and Carter. They were not soldiers, but they were brave, and she trusted them now. Even if they did not have powerful weapons or a big army, she knew the four of them had something just as strong: hope and the will to fight for what was right. Lily joined Maria in the office and watched her send the warning. Maria typed fast and read the screen out loud as she worked. This is the Star Wanderer. We have evidence that the Cernak might not be extinct. Unknown ships are moving in this sector. Advise all vessels to stay alert and avoid the area. She sent the message on every channel she could. Ethan entered, looking serious. We can't stay here, but we can't run forever either. If that ship finds us, we need to be ready. Lily, do you think the Omega Protocol has anything that could help? Lily nodded and took the codes and chip to the bridge where Carter was waiting. She used the codes from her badge, the engineering room, and the captain's quarters. The files unlocked a new section in the data. Lily's face grew serious as she read. Omega Protocol was not just about weapons, Lily said. It's a full plan. It has safe locations for old Alliance supplies, escape routes, and ways to contact people who might still be loyal from the war. There's even a command that can activate defense satellites in this sector. But it can only be done from an old base hidden on a moon nearby. We have to go there. Carter looked worried. If the enemy ship is tracking us, won't they follow? Lily answered, maybe, but if we move fast, we might get there first. If we can activate the defense satellites, we'll have a chance to fight back. Ethan made a decision. Let's do it. Carter, plot a course to the moon. Maria, get the message. Ready if we're in trouble, we'll need help from anyone listening. The Star Wanderer's engines roared to life. The ship turned toward the hidden moon, moving as fast as it could. Lily watched the scanners, always keeping an eye on the mysterious signal. It stayed behind them, always at the edge of the sensors. Never too close or too far during the journey, Lily spent time with each member of the crew. She sat with Carter in the engine room, helping him fix a coolant leak. Carter told her stories of his life as a child growing up on a mining planet, always dreaming of seeing the stars. Lily smiled and told him about her own dreams of being a captain and protecting her friends. She spent time with Maria in the kitchen, sharing food and talking about old Earth. Maria missed her family back home and worried about what would happen if the enemy found them. Lily comforted her and promised she would do everything to keep the crew safe. With Ethan, Lily sat on the bridge. They talked about choices, about leadership and fear. Ethan admitted he never wanted to be a hero. He just wanted to keep his friends safe. Lily said that sometimes the best leaders were the ones who did not want power but still did the right thing. As they neared the moon, the tension grew. The crew saw the enemy signal grow stronger. It was clear the ship was following them. Carter checked the sensors again and again, his hands moving quickly over the controls. Finally, they reached the moon. It was a dark, icy rock covered in deep craters. There were no cities or signs of life. But the computer found a signal, a beacon hidden under the ice. Lily guided the ship down, following old codes from the Omega Protocol. The Star Wanderer landed in a narrow canyon. Ethan, Lily, and Maria put on warm clothes and grabbed flashlights and tools. Carter stayed on the ship to watch the scanners and keep the engines ready. The three of them walked across the ice, their breath turning to clouds in the cold air. Lily found a metal door hidden in the rock. She used a code from the protocol, and the door opened with a heavy groan. Inside was a small base, dark and frozen. They used their flashlights to find the control room. Maria found the power switch and turned it on. Lights flickered and old machines hummed to life. Lily found the control panel and entered the final code. A map of the sector appeared on a screen with dots showing the hidden defense satellites. Ethan looked at the map. "Can we control them from here?" Lily nodded. "Yes, I can wake them up and set them to protect this area." Suddenly, Carter's voice came through on their radios. "Enemy ship is landing." "They're here." Lily worked fast, entering commands. The base shook as the enemy ship fired its weapons. Ethan and Maria prepared to defend the door. Soon, they heard footsteps and voices in the hallway. The enemy had arrived. 3 armed strangers came into the control room. Their leader, the man with the scar, pointed his weapon at Lily. "Step away from the controls. You have something that belongs to us." Ethan stood in front of Lily. "We won't let you hurt her." The scarred man sneered. "You think you can stop us? We know what the Omega Protocol is. Give us the codes and we'll let you live." Lily looked at Maria, who nodded. Maria tossed a small flash grenade to Ethan, who held it tight. Lily kept working, her fingers moving over the panel. The scarred man grew angry. "Enough, step away or I'll shoot." Ethan pressed the grenade and a bright flash filled the room. Everyone fell to the ground, blinded for a few seconds. Lily finished entering the last command. The satellites came online, their lights blinking. On the map, the enemy fired their weapons, hitting the walls and computers. Maria pulled Lily to the floor as sparks flew. Ethan tackled the scarred man, knocking his weapon away. The other 2 enemies ran after Maria, but she dodged and hit one of them with a metal bar. Carter called out on the radio. "The satellites are firing at the enemy ship. Hurry back to the Star Wanderer." Lily, Maria, and Ethan rushed through the dark halls. The enemy was confused and afraid as the whole base shook with each hit from the satellites above. Outside, the enemy ship tried to take off, but beams of light from the satellites hit it again and again. The ship exploded in the sky, lighting up the ice with fire. Lily, Maria, and Ethan made it back to the Star Wanderer. Carter opened the doors and everyone jumped inside. Ethan powered up the engines and the ship blasted off the moon, heading into space. Everyone sat quietly for a long time, catching their breath. Lily looked at the screens and saw the satellites' lights shining in the darkness. The enemy was gone, at least for now. Maria put her hand on Lily's shoulder. "You did it, you saved us." Lily smiled, feeling proud but also sad. She knew the fight was not over, but she was glad she had not given up. She was glad to have new friends, people she could trust. Ethan looked at the crew. "We have a choice. Now, we can keep running or we can keep fighting." "What do you want to do?" Lily answered first. "I want to fight. I want to make sure the Cernic never hurt anyone again." Maria and Carter agreed. Together, the crew of the Star Wanderer decided to face whatever came next. As a team, they left the icy moon behind, heading into the unknown, ready for the next challenge. The story of Lily Grant was no longer about a soldier lost in time. It was now the story of hope, courage, and friendship, a story that would not be forgotten. The Star Wanderer moved quietly through space, leaving the icy moon and the burning enemy ship behind. Inside, the crew felt a mix of relief and worry. They had won the fight, but the danger was not over. The hidden message in the captain's log, the warning about the Cernic, and the fight for the Omega Protocol had changed all of them, especially Lily. Lily sat by a window, watching the stars and thinking about what would come next. She was no longer lost and alone. She was part of a new crew, with people who trusted her and believed in her. She felt hope, but also a heavy responsibility. If the Cernic were truly coming back, she would have to do more than just survive. She would have to help the galaxy prepare. Ethan was in the bridge, talking with Maria and Carter about their next steps. The news of their battle on the moon was spreading. Some small ships and stations sent messages back asking if the story about the Cernic was true. Others wanted to know more about the Omega Protocol and the defense satellites. "We need to share the truth," Ethan said, looking at Maria. "We can't keep this a secret." "People need to be ready if the Cernic return," Maria agreed. "But we also need to be careful. Some people might panic. Some might want to take the weapons for themselves." Carter added, "And those satellites will only protect this sector. If the Cernic come from somewhere else, the rest of the galaxy won't be ready." Lily joined them, wearing a simple shirt. Now instead of her old armor, she looked at the crew and spoke softly. "We have to find others who will listen. Maybe some of the old Alliance commanders are still alive. Maybe there are people who remember the old warnings. If we can bring them together, we'll have a better chance." Ethan thought for a moment. "There's a place called Haven. It's a small station, but people from many worlds go there. If we share the captain's log and the warning there, the news will spread fast." Maria started preparing a message to send ahead. Carter set the course for Haven and checked the engines. The journey would take several days, and everyone took turns keeping watch. During the trip, Lily spent time talking to people across the galaxy. She used the old Alliance codes to send messages to old friends and contacts. Some of them answered, surprised to hear from a captain they thought was dead. Others were careful, not sure if they should trust her. But more and more, people began to believe her story, especially when they saw the proof in the logs and videos from the moon battle. One night, as the ship moved through a quiet sector, Lily talked with Ethan in the kitchen. She shared stories of her crew and the battles they fought together. Ethan listened and sometimes shared his own stories about growing up on a small farming world, dreaming of seeing more than just fields and sky. "You remind me of some of my old friends," Lily said with a small smile. "Not a soldier, but brave, always willing to help others," Ethan smiled back. "I just do what I can. You showed me that sometimes being brave means doing the right thing, even if it's hard." As the Star Wanderer neared Haven, Carter picked up a strange signal. He called everyone to the bridge. "There's a ship ahead, but it's not broadcasting an ID, it's just waiting." Maria checked the scanners. "It's not moving." "Maybe it's broken down," Lily's eyes narrowed. "Or maybe it's watching for us. We should be ready." Ethan decided to be careful. He brought the Star Wanderer in slowly and sent a message to Haven asking for help. The mystery ship did not move. As they got closer, Maria scanned it and found only a weak power signal. Carter said he could dock with it if needed. Lily said, "Let's be ready for anything." Ethan, Lily, and Carter took the shuttle and moved closer to the mystery ship. They boarded it, moving slowly and quietly. The halls were dark and the air was thin. They found only one person inside, a young woman in an old uniform, unconscious but alive. They carried her back to the Star Wanderer. Maria checked her and found she was weak from hunger and cold, but she would live. When she woke up, she was afraid at first, but Lily spoke gently to her. "My name is Lily. You're safe now. What happened?" The woman's name was Hope. She said she was running from pirates who wanted the secrets of her family's old ship. She had heard stories about the Cernic coming back and wanted to warn others. Lily listened and told Hope about their fight on the moon and the danger ahead. Hope agreed to help, sharing what she knew about new pirate groups working with the Cernic. The crew realized that not everyone who hunted them was an enemy, and some, like Hope, could be new friends. When they finally arrived at Haven, the station was full of people, and the story of Lily and the Star Wanderer had already reached many ears. Some people were afraid, but others wanted to help. Lily spoke to a large group, showing the captain's log, the battle footage, and the warnings about the Cernic. She told them about the hidden satellites, the secrets in the old data, and how important it was for everyone to work together. Ethan and Maria spoke too, telling their part of the story. Carter showed the damage to their ship and how close they had come to losing everything. Hope shared her story, warning about the pirates and how they were helping the Cernic in exchange for power. The leaders of Haven agreed to help spread the message. They sent out warnings, organized groups to watch the sky, and began making plans for defense. Lily was asked to lead a new team, not as a soldier from the past, but as a guide for the future. Before leaving Haven, Lily visited a small memorial garden on the station. She placed her old armor and badge on a stone bench. She whispered goodbye to her lost crew and promised to remember their bravery. Ethan found her there and sat beside her. "You've done more than most people could ever hope to do. You gave people hope again," Lily nodded. "I didn't do it alone. I had help from good friends." Together, the crew of the Star Wanderer left Haven and set a new course. Their story was not over. They would keep searching for answers, warning others, and fighting if they had to. Lily felt lighter now, not just because she had left her armor behind, but because she was no longer carrying her burdens alone. As the Star Wanderer moved into the stars, the crew looked ahead with hope. The galaxy was still full of danger, but now it was also full of people ready to stand together, just like Ethan, Maria, Carter, and Hope. Lily smiled, knowing that even after 150 years, some things like courage and friendship never faded away. The adventure was just beginning, and the crew of the Star Wanderer was ready for whatever came next.